Scott just made the point.
Seems to be a lot more secure, not just.
2 years ago, the world's largest solar thermal energy plant flipped the switch with great fanfare just 45 miles southwest of Las Vegas. Built with help from a $1.6 billion loan backed by U.S. taxpayers, the Wall Street Journal now reports that the facility may have to go dark because it can't deliver what it promised under contract with Pacific Gas and Electric, the power company. I'm Scott Ott, here to shine some light on why with my co-hosts Stephen Green and Bill Whittle. Now, men, the IVANPAH solar electric generating system uses some 350,000 garage door-sized mirrors reflecting sunlight on boilers atop 45-story towers to make steam to turn turbines. Nevertheless, it could not generate enough electricity to meet its contractual obligations without burning some natural gas, too. Last year, it cranked out only 2/3 of the expected electricity, and that was way up from the even more disappointing 2014 production. Even so, the energy it produces costs way too much, between $135 and $200 per megawatt hour, when the going rate for renewables is around $57, and for natural gas, just $35. The power company inked the contract with IVANPAH in 2009 to meet a California requirement that 1/3 of its power come from renewables by 2020. Last year, state lawmakers upped the ante to 50% renewables by 2030. Now, the power company this week will beg the California Public Utility Commission to give the multi-billion-dollar boondoggle more time to keep its promises. The Federal Department of Energy, which made the loan, of course, agrees with delaying the shutdown. And the story only gets worse. Not only does the facility make expensive electricity and not enough of it, it also slaughters thousands of birds each year, scorching them out of the sky. Now, Stephen Green, NRG invested about $300 million, and Google pumped in about $168 million, in addition to the taxpayers' $1.6 billion. Isn't this the kind of public-private partnership we need so that we can boldly go into our renewable energy future?
Well, I'll get to the public-private partnership part in just a moment. But first, I want to say, screw the birds. They're awful animals. They're mostly useless, and if they're getting fried out of the skies, that's fine with me. You know, they evolved from dinosaurs. They might evolve back. I say, kill them all. No, a little more seriously, what we have here is a product that politicians feel that people should buy. And maybe it costs too much, but they politically will this giant boondoggle into existence, and then they mandate that people buy from it, and people still don't want to purchase it. So if this reminds you of any other government program, well, it probably should. That said, public-private partnerships, you know, the nasty word for that is the corporatism. The really nasty word for that is fascism. I don't mean Hitler and ovens, but I do mean Benito Mussolini and what he called, these are his words, the corporate state. It was big business, big government, big labor, all working together for the common good. And, well, annexing Albania. So we all know how that works out.
Well, Bill Whittle, since we've already ripped up about 5 square miles of pristine Mojave Desert, and all birds die eventually anyway, don't you agree that it's too late to turn back now? We should extend this deal?
Let me just say a couple things about this facility. First of all, living in the West Coast and flying around down here, those pictures don't do it justice. You can see it from 300-400 miles away. It is blindingly bright from almost any angle. It's just shocking how, from the air anyway, obviously from the air you've got a higher angle on the mirrors. On the ground it looks quite bland, but from the sky it is absolutely mind-blowing how much light that puts out. With that said, I'll just say this. It's a pretty good rule of thumb. It's not 100% accurate, but it's in the high 90s, I'll bet you. So here it goes. People who go into business are smarter than people who go into politics. Okay, so let's just start there because it's true. If there's a way to make money generating electricity and selling it at the market price, then private companies will go into this business and they will succeed through competition to drive the price down ever lower. If, on the other hand, the smart people in business decide that this is not a money-making opportunity, then the stupid people in politics have to step in and force something to happen that wouldn't have happened otherwise, because the smart people are not only smarter, there's a lot more of them. right? There's a lot more of them, and they're all in competition. They know what it costs to make this plant work. They know how much electricity it can produce. If they didn't get into it as a profit-making venture, then it shouldn't have gotten into. And imagine my surprise. Now, just so people don't think I'm a complete Luddite as far as solar power goes, look, any kind of savings of energy is a good deal. It's not a good deal to take taxpayers' money. $1,200 million of our money spent on this thing, and it was Solyndra another $500 million. They have the right to take taxpayers' monies for this. But look, if you want to put solar cells on your house, or if you want to do a radiator on your roof to warm your water prior to it going into the water heater and save yourself some bucks that way, that's fantastic. And small-scale solar is probably wise. But again, the government subsidizes a lot of these things. So look, if it's gonna save money, do it. And if it's not, it's not. By the way, we're not talking about shoveling coal into this thing, by the way. We're talking about burning natural gas, which is unbelievably plentiful and unbelievably clean. So frankly, this solar thing is going to have to go away. Sooner or later, people are going to have to wake up to solar and windmills. Same thing. They're shutting down and they're murdering thousands of birds, which, if they'd been privately owned, would have been the end of the world. They just don't work, okay? Not on a massive scale. They may work on your farm, but they don't work. They are not even close to providing the country's energy needs. So we go to natural gas, or we go to solar, or we go to nuclear, or we go to oil. Those are the three choices. Coal's a fourth choice. That's the only things that are going to do it. And it's just time to stop pretending that this thing's going to come through wishful thinking, Scotty.
Well, this story is a near perfect picture of what's wrong with big remote control government, the kind our Constitution was designed to prevent. The utopian legislature of the People's Republic of California tells private companies how their power must be generated in order to prevent a theoretical evil predicted by scientists working with federal taxpayer money, grants, using speculative computer models often at odds with the facts on the ground. Now, private companies hop into bed with unaccountable government bureaucrats promising to do that which never has been done at extravagant cost, and to do it on a massive scale, rather than to create a modest prototype to test the assumptions. Now, using your money, the bureaucrats bet $1.6 billion on the chance that 777s will come up 7 times in a row. Almost immediately, the venture underperforms expectations, and the cronied-up companies ask for free money from the taxpayers to pay back their loan from the taxpayers. The venture produces much less than promised at a cost that the market cannot bear, and with devastating side effects to the environment that the entire venture purportedly exists to protect. Instead of shutting it down to stop the bleeding, as the cronied-up companies would surely do if they were taking all the risk themselves, they ask for more time to fail more completely. Listen, if they don't get that extension from the government, I'll eat a flash-roasted bald eagle on this show. The U.S. Constitution is an experiment in liberty designed around the power of the people. But we've corrupted it, forcing the people to pay through the nose for a trickle of pricey power from a long series of failed government experiments. For Bill Whittle, Stephen Green, and the entire Trifecta crew at PJTV.com, I'm Scott Ott.